Well, hello and welcome back. My name's Kieran Siemens and this is my world of ink. So, today we're trying to get into this. I've had a lot of people asking me about doing a little bit more of a process of illustrations. And to be really honest, when I'm doing the illustrations, I simply forget to push the camera. But today I'm at the early stages of this book. It's a bird book. There are lots of illustrations about birds. There's lots and lots of sketches and things like that. There's one that I've been doing, and there's lots of them sitting all over the place, and I just simply forget to do it. So today I'm working on this character, and I thought I'd walk you through some of the things that I'm working on. Today I'm working on this character that's a crow. I'm trying to capture the character that's in my head on paper, and the only way to capture it is to draw it. So take today, come and walk with it through me with something today we're going to draw, and it'll be a crow. If you like the sound of that, let's do it. Well, welcome back. Back to some more inky fun, and we are going to get straight into it. My ink's in the other room. Terribly sorry. Sometimes I draw in that room, sometimes I draw in this room, sometimes I draw in different rooms, but today we are trying to do a crow, and I've got this idea for a crow, and it's a rather nasty crow. And I've got this idea of a real kind of heavy set type of bird, and I wanted him to be quite nasty. He has to be quite nasty in the story because he's kind of laughing at this other bird, and I really wanted to kind of get him in there and be a real kind of nasty creature, really. And I've done a couple of versions of it. Well, actually, there you go. That was drawings flying up. That was one of the versions. That's him there, and I kind of liked the heavy set of him. That was the illustration that I did, and I wasn't sure about it. And I'm trying to get back into a feeling of nastiness about him, and I'm not sure that it really came across in that drawing. And I've been trying to do a few. In fact, you might even find that I kind of get halfway through this one and change my idea and change my setting. I kind of like this idea of him being quite thick set, and to be thick set, sometimes it takes a thicker brush to kind of give me that feeling sometimes. But I really wanted him to have something very kind of menacing about him, and each time I draw him I don't feel he's menacing enough. I don't know if I can really kind of explain that clearly enough, but I wanted him to have that kind of feeling that he's just a horrible guy, you know? And each time that he sees this other bird, he kind of goes, well, you're not good enough. You're just not good enough, mate. And the idea of the kind of the enemy side of him was to be this crow. And this crow is the character that's kind of like pointing down on him. But I wanted him to be quite thick set. Quite a small, chunky kind of bird. And I kind of felt like he needed a lot of kind of lineage in there. I'm going to try and give him that staring down eyes. And I had this vision that they're so kind of frustrated with this other bird that they're kind of losing lots of feathers about it, like you would. You know, we kind of lose sometimes about ourselves. We kind of get so angry that we kind of forget who we are a little bit. And I wanted that to be them kind of losing feathers about. And this is actually probably the wrong nib, because it's a rather delicate little baby. Look at that little thing. But I've been drawing with this, and I've really had a real pleasure with it. It's one of those ones that I got in the Brighton shop, that pen to paper shop, that I quite get addicted with sometimes. I kind of see I need another brush there, another brush to kind of get that intensity. And I'm feeling again, it's kind of like, I feel it kind of helps his character to kind of, when I'm doing the thin lines on there, sometimes I'm kind of feeling like he's not frustrated enough, he's not angry enough. And I'm feeling like sometimes this heavy set feeling will help in getting this character across, if I can do that. Now, I've drawn him a couple of times, kind of in sketch form, as these illustrations sometimes come across in a sketch-like form, and I'm somehow feeling like I'm missing something in his character. And so I've drawn him so many times now. Let's get one of those kind of feathers kind of falling off him in his frustration. And this is really about him just feeling his own inadequacies of, you know, maybe he's a black crow and he doesn't have the same color or the same adventure as some of these smaller birds. And this anger is something that I'm trying to get into his feeling, and I'm just, I wouldn't say I'm struggling with it, but I'm getting a lot of nice kind of feelings about, again, I like this idea of having really thick, chunky legs. And it kind of adds to that feeling that he can't do what some of the little thin birds can do. And again, that's his kind of anger, his kind of, his own kind of self-worry. And again, I'm kind of trying to kind of feeling that the nib will give me that anger in its own way. And sometimes it's, you know, I do find that sometimes kind of doing the character design, you kind of sketch them out in pencil or whatever. Sometimes you kind of have a nice feeling, and then when you go to do it in ink, it becomes a different character, becomes a different feeling. So in this approach, I'm trying to get that anger coming out of him. And again, maybe I've also kind of had this thing about the eyes. Am I getting too gentle with the eyes? Am I, you know? And sometimes you need to kind of talk this through with your second brain a little bit. What do you want? What do you want from the character? Well, I want this. Well, you're not doing that. And by talking this through with yourself, don't worry about people thinking you're nuts or something. We know that we're not nuts, all right? But what we are trying to get here is we're trying to get that feeling that we want. And sometimes the way to do that is to really sketch it out, draw it out, draw that character 50 times, 100 times, whatever it needs, until, and maybe again I've kind of chosen the wrong character, because by having the grey tones in there, having the black as in the Crow, that I'm kind of getting to that point where maybe I can't have, maybe if you were having colours in there and blues and whatever else, you might be able to get a different feeling across. But I kind of felt the character of the Crow in this new story. Not the Worry Lips one. It's Worry Lips is up there and looking fantastic wherever he is. There he is. If you haven't got yourself a book, go and get one. Why not? It's a lovely treat for yourself. You'll enjoy it. But this is back to the more kind of inky, crazy style that I'm kind of known for more. But each book has a different feeling. Each book has a different kind of character set. It's like if you've got a real kind of children's story, probably to do this style would probably go against the character of the audience aim. I couldn't really do too hard a kind of pattern if on a real kind of soft kind of children's book. And there he is in all his glory of and I would love to know what you think. Is he menacing enough? Does he have that kind of feeling of anger and self-importance? Does he come across that way? Again, get that brush when you feel like, see, I'm still kind of feeling the thickness probably is needed there. Just to kind of, see, I tried to do it with the beak also, but then I kind of felt like sometimes the beak being too heavy didn't help. But again, you've got to play with that. You've got to play it around and get different feelings going. And I've got a few kind of books on the burner. So this is a book on birds. A story of birds. And it's one of those type of things of finding the right kind of character, and that's got quite a nice feeling. I mean, crows are quite a menacing type of character anyway, so I don't think you can kind of go too wrong with what you're doing with this character. But I don't know, I kind of feel like maybe it's kind of like putting in some oranges and that around the eyes might help. Again, color will play a big part in this crow. It's that menacing character. And this is a kind of a thing where he's showing his power, his strength. And again, I'm trying to kind of add dimension a little bit with some of the shading, keeping the shading quite kind of loose. Again, with bringing the wings and under the eyes and whatever, any type of area that you kind of feel you can kind of get away with adding that shading. And that is how he's kind of looking there. And I had this idea that he got so frustrated that he kind of bursts into energy of the feathers flying off him, that he's in such frustration, you know. And these kind of character points are something that you kind of listen into your second brain a little bit there about, if that's what you feel, that's what you need to draw. Try and follow it. And this, again, I won't be bordering this because this will be part of the illustration of it. Let's just swap over nibs there because I want to try and do. I'm going to do that. Maybe not. Let's just try and get in there and trying to get some clouds in there on a in a style that will fit what we're doing. Slightly different kind of feeling. And that is one of the test drawings for the crow. Now, this is something that I'm not quite sure will be used at this point because I'm kind of testing out the character. I've done a similar character there and it seems like a lighter line, and I'm not sure if that works in the same way that you're looking at that character and you're looking at that character. And you know, maybe I need to balance up some of the heavier lines on him. I'll show you up on top there as well. That's the other character there. Let's bring him over a little bit. There you go. And that's the other character that I've been working on. This kind of heavier set. And in a way, I could probably even go in and do a second drawing for that, but maybe in another video. But that's kind of where all these drawings are falling all over the place. So that's kind of like what we've got here with today's drawing about this crow. And I'm trying to get this thing, once I've painted in some greys in there and maybe some oranges or something around the eye, I might demonize him a little bit more. Because obviously this heavier set has kind of, I think it's helped bring the character. Again, sometimes I kind of find like you need to look at your drawing and balance up the line work on it. Sometimes a little bit more of a kind of thickness to it will add more kind of dimensions to it. And there we have today's drawing of a rather nasty crow that will appear in one of my future books that I'm working on at the moment. You know, I'm always working on stuff, so I would love to know your opinions. I'd love to know what you think. on my nasty crow. Is he nasty? Is he nasty enough? And it has been an absolute pleasure to draw for you today. So, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching the drawing. Thank you very much for all your comments and your support on this, because I do appreciate your feedback. I do appreciate when you look at my drawings and give me your thoughts. Of today's drawing is the crow. So, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.